Peace, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give the video a big thumbs up, and share the broadcast. Tell everybody you know that Vicki Dillard is on the African Diaspora News Channel network now. Thank you so very much. It's so important that we're intentional about sharing the broadcast because there are so many attempts and so many ways to suppress and to limit our reach. So when you intentionally share, you help us to inform the Black diaspora around the world. And for that, we say thank you so very much. And also, beloved, don't forget to download our app for African Diaspora News Channel. It is a new platform of ours that essentially gives us more agency and control. And that is so important because that ensures that our message reaches more people unobstructed. Yes, thank you so very much, family. I have been wanting to cover this particular topic for some time now. This has been out a couple of months, but I'm finally getting some stuff together. I've been having such a busy schedule and taking care of my health. But I wanted to share this information, and I did not want to let it pass, even though mainstream media refuses to discuss it. I specifically have to talk to the Black diaspora about it because it directly involves you. And I, as a foundation of Black America here in the United States, born in the deep South of Mississippi and currently now living in the West, I always say that we know this beast in the West in the United States better than anybody. So we know their play that they're going to execute around the world. I want you to this piece this was captured. This particular person by the name of Eric Prince of the Blackwater Mercenary Military Company. Did you hear what I said right there? He started a podcast, and during a conversation that he had, he was caught saying something. I want you to listen to this quote that I'm about to read to you, but let me give you a little bit of background, right? As this piece mentions here, reminding us of who he is, he's a 54-year-old man. It says that he's a wealthy heir to an auto supply company, a Navy SEAL, the founder of the mercenary firm Blackwater, that's the one I just referred to, which conducted a notorious 2007 massacre in the middle of Baghdad, the brother of Betsy DeVos, Donald Trump's Secretary of Education. That's who Betsy DeVos was. A shadow advisor to Trump, and the plaintiff in a lawsuit against The Intercept. The Intercept is from this piece that I'm reading. Now, as I mentioned before, he was doing a podcast that he started called Off Leash. Now, I want you to listen to what he said during this his podcast. On an episode that he did, he stated, quote, that it was time for the U.S. should, quote, put the imperial hat back on and take over and directly run huge swaths of the globe. That's what he said, right, in part, particularly the quote that I just read about the imperial hat. That's a direct quote. But I want you to listen to this quote here, his exact words. If so many of these countries around the world are incapable of governing themselves, it's time for us to just put the imperial hat back on, to say we're going to govern these countries because enough is enough. We're done being invaded. You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves. A Navy SEAL family, an owner in a company of a notorious military mercenary group that had multiple contracts with the United States government, including but not limited to the Homeland Security. But what's little known, because your sister with the curly braids have been keeping up with geopolitics long before I came online to officially discuss it through media outlets like this one. Some folks have forgotten that many years ago, right here in these United States of America, are y'all listening to me? Some folks have forgotten that many years ago, at least in this piece from September of 2005, I was able to pull this one up from 2005. Yes, almost 20 years ago, when I heard that name, Blackwater, ding, 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 ding. When I said Eric Prince, where have I heard that name? I went hunting again. Guess what? What the media won't tell you, the mainstream media won't tell you. Blackwater, beloved, this mercenary group, specifically from this piece James Joyner wrote. I'm reading from a different piece now because I've been going in and out. Like, y'all know I got to have receipts to give to the public. Watch this. A former Navy SEAL charges that Blackwater snipers killed American citizens in New Orleans during Katrina's aftermath. I remember hearing about skirmishes with this mercenary group that has U.S. government contracts, multiple U.S. government contracts, was brought in to New Orleans to distress Black Americans who were abandoned by these United States of America under the Bush administration, left to die. They sent in mercenary groups, and what's little known, guess what one of the mercenary groups was from too? Israel. But I digress. In addition to them, Blackwater was among those groups. So the person that you just heard me mention there that says that we need to recolonize in essence through the put back on the imperialist hat and said that most of all of Africa cannot govern themselves and that we need, the United States just needs to govern. I have to emphasize this because I don't think that when you're hearing the news and they're trying to demonize Russia and China, and I don't need to be a voice for Russia and China, I'm bringing the news about my country because I want my country to course correct and to get on the right course and to do right by the rest of the world. And of course, us, we who are foundational Black Americans right here in the United States, who they owe reparations and justice to. I'm saying these things to put a mirror in her face, but America refuses to do what is right. What did the quote say? He said a whole lot of other stuff too, Fabi, because that podcast is very revealing, but I'm just reading you this important quote here. If so many of these countries around the world are incapable of governing themselves, it's time for us to just put the imperial hat back on, to say we're going to govern those countries because enough is enough. We're done being invaded. What you mean we're done being invaded? Do you hear how sick and twisted and deranged and predatory and diabolical these folks are? He said, we're sick because enough is enough. We're done being. What you mean we're done being invaded? Nobody is coming to America messing with you, rich boy, who inherited all this money, Navy SEAL, multiple U.S. contracts, working directly with high-level government officials, a shadow advisor to Donald Trump, and your sister was in a high-level position in the U.S. government, among many, 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 many other things. The hell does he mean we're done being invaded? These are not your countries. Do you see how sick and twisted these folks are? I'm telling you all this because I want you to reject any urges in you that will want to high five and to negotiate without very clear understanding on who you're dealing with. Folks that think like this, folks that have leverage in the U.S. government, folks that have leverage around the world, folks that actually have weapons. It's a Navy SEAL. That's one of the highest levels of military persons that you can be. That's an elite group of soldiers, warriors. That's their thinking. Watch this. And just in case you think he didn't really mean what he said during the podcast, y'all know I'm going to give you the truth. You have to know I do my homework. And more importantly, I speak prophetically. Prince's co-host, Mark Serona, his co-host on that podcast that I told you they just recently started, where he said this, his co-host then warned him that listeners might hear his words and believe he means them. Quote, this is what his co-host said after he made this very blatant and shocking statement. His co-host said, quote, people on the left are going to watch this and they're going to say, wait a minute, Eric Prince is talking about being a colonialist again. He replied, quote, absolute yes. He then added that he thought this was a great concept, not just for Africa, but also for Latin America. Do you understand that the powers that shouldn't be, them folks, are so worried about the New World Order, the new blocks that are arising, the fact that they're losing power in the United States and the West in terms of being able to pimp, to exploit, steal, kill, and destroy the rest of the majority of the world? Do you all understand that they're taking absolutely desperate measures and they are not working behind the scenes? They're not working covertly anymore. They're not keeping the quiet part quiet. They're saying the quiet part out loud. This is why they're desperate, because stuff is moving real fast in their minds. And so they're responding without equivocation. And they're taking off their masks. Some of you all have forgotten I don't teach the scriptures the way the average person does. In my school, the Vicki Dillard Mystery School at VickiPlanet.com, that's where you can register if you want to sign up for my powerful monthly mystical mastermind school where people are getting signs and wonders and results and miracles in their lives. You've got to understand that there is a spiritual text that makes you think that the devil is under the ground wearing red with a pitchfork, or you think he's some invisible force that you're going to see at the end of your days and during some judgment where you're going to be in hell forever burning. You all have a misunderstanding of the scriptures, and that's because our open enemy has given us the definition of who the devil is so that you don't see the adversary roaming on the earth today using a certain type of people and government. The scripture says that a man of sin is going to be revealed. If a man of sin is going to be revealed, that means that a man of sin is roaming around masquerading, meaning he has a cover on and you don't recognize who he is until he's revealed. And I always like to say, when I grew up in church, you know how the preacher would always be screaming about that scripture that says that the devil is a liar. That's because that's written in the book of John, right? But what else does the book of John say in a different place? It says that there is a thief that comes to steal, kill, and destroy, right? Well, I ask you, beloved, don't say it out loud. Just think, is there a group of nations or people that go about our planet lying, stealing, unaliving people, and destroying? That's 4 major traits that seems like it matches who you call the devil or the adversary, I should say. You better wake up and smell the begonias. That's exactly what this organization does. And we who are foundational Black Americans know better than anybody, because they treated us in distress when we were being destroyed during a major hurricane in New Orleans almost 20 years ago. They sent in military operatives, Navy SEAL types such as he, foreign official mercenaries, and treated Black Americans like the enemy and left us to perish. Can't nobody tell us nothing about this adversary. I can't wait to hear what your comments are below. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. Like I said, be sure to check out my school at VickiPlanet.com. That's VICKI Planet.com, VickiPlanet.com, and check out my products and services that's meant to empower you and teach you how to change your world and the world. Your life will never be the same. I can promise you that. Beloved, also be sure to share this broadcast here from African Diaspora News Channel. I can't wait to see you again.